Amanda started to say, but she was cut off by the sudden sound of snapping that came from right outside the window. I groaned. He was here. Tyler, who was facing the window, fell backwards onto the floor. "Holy crap," he giggled. "It's real." I didn't like the look I saw on Tyler's face. He was eyeing the window up and down like it was a roller coaster he was about to ride, a plunge into adventure that he was ready to take. "Come over here, Tyler, it's not safe by the window," I said, but my words were lost on him. "Tyler, get over here," Amanda yelled. The snapping started to get louder and Tyler's visage changed from excited to afraid. However, that glimmer of adventure still shone in his eye. "Why can't we look at him again?" Tyler shouted over the growing noise. He started to move hesitantly towards the rattling window. I tried to shout back an answer, but the snapping was already deafening and it drowned out any sound of my voice. The fan was turned off. Amanda covered her ears and crouched down to her knees. I could tell by her face that she was crying. For a second I bent down to comfort her, and when I looked up, I just barely caught Tyler's mouth moving. I'm not the best lip reader, but I could tell he said something like, "I think I'm going to open the window," as he reached to pull the box off the windowsill. I sprang up from the floor across the room towards him and shouted with all my might for him to stop, but it was too late. Just as I was about to reach him, Tyler undid the curtains and he laid eyes on the terrible thing outside. I shielded my own eyes with my elbow just in time, but that didn't stop me from hearing Tyler's screams, because as soon as Tyler opened the curtains, the snapping stopped. The thing outside the window let out a deep animal moan of pleasure, and then all we could hear was a mortifying, blood-curdling wail. It came from Tyler. After a few seconds, the screaming subsided, and I hesitantly decided to open my eyes. Tyler was sitting in the corner, slumped over like a drunk. His mouth was turned up in a slight smile and drool poured out of the corner. "Tyler," I began to talk to him. He looked over when I said his name, and I saw that his eyeballs were all white. They didn't pupils or irises, not even any veins. They were just pure white, like two cue balls stuck in his skull. He smiled wider. "Tyler, are you all right?" I asked. "I'm fine," he said dryly as he stood up. I looked at the watcher, and he has helped me truly see. He took a step toward us. "I think you two should look. I promise you won't regret it." He took another step forward and reached a hand out in our direction. "Just take a quick peek. I won't tell anyone." At that moment, a dull thud came from the window. Tyler went on talking and staggering towards us. I put a protective arm out in front of Amanda in a feeble attempt at shielding her from whatever terribleness had entered the body of our friend. "You should take a look. It's not so bad. It's not like what they've told you." There was another thud against the window. It sounded like something was pounding on the glass. "I promise I wouldn't lie to friends," Tyler said. Thud. Do I look like I'm hurt? I wanted to answer that he did look hurt, but I knew it wouldn't do much. There was something very wrong with him. Looking out the window had changed him. "Tyler, what is that thing doing?" I asked him tentatively as I took a cautious step backward. Thud. "Who?" Tyler asked me. "That thing outside." "Oh, he's banging his head on the glass. He says that once someone looks at him, he's allowed to come in." As he said those words, there was another thud and the glass made a cracking noise. I turned around to look at Amanda and said the last words I would ever speak to her. "Get out now!" She took off running and I followed close after. Behind us I heard Tyler call out, this time in his normal voice, as if the real Tyler had fought his way out of the prison that was his mind. By the time I got through the front door, Amanda was already out of sight. Her car wasn't in the driveway, so I assumed she made it to safety. My car was in the garage and the keys were up in my room, so I ran away on foot. New screams and the sounds of tearing flesh echoed out into the night as I crossed the lawn and scampered down the sidewalk. There was so much adrenaline in my system that running was not difficult, even though I was severely out of shape. I ran until my frantic legs carried me to a public place, a fast food restaurant that I had never noticed before. Thank God it was open. I burst inside and collapsed onto the sticky tile floor where a worker had just mopped. He looked slightly annoyed, but not in the least bit shocked. I guess the graveyard staff at a fast food place see a lot of crazy shit. As soon as I regained my breath, I pulled out my phone and called 911. I told the operator that someone had broken in and attacked my friend. I hoped there was still a chance for Tyler, but in my gut I knew that it was over for him. The operator asked where I lived, and when I gave her the address, her tone of voice completely changed. "Did he look out the window?" she asked. I guess emergency services was already aware of the thing that wandered the neighborhood. "Yeah, he did," I sniffled. "Well, I'm sorry, sir, but there's nothing we can do for your friend. We will try to recuperate most of your belongings in the morning, but you cannot go back to that house. Do you have somewhere else you can stay?" she asked. I was speechless. There was nothing they could do. What was that thing that went snapping outside my window every night, and how was it so terrifying that even 911 wouldn't mess with it? Eventually I lied to her and said I could stay at a relative's house, but truthfully I had nowhere to go. My only two friends in the area were Tyler and Amanda, one of whom was literally in the belly of the beast and the other wasn't answering my calls. I eventually moved to a new neighborhood with a good job and new friends. Things are going great, but I'm starting to get a little worried. My next door neighbors just called and said that they want to come over to discuss some community guidelines. They said it has something to do with locking your doors every time there's a full moon. I swear I can't take this stuff anymore. Why can't I just find a decent place to live?